Okay, we're going for round 2 up in Helena Valley. We're going to head up for another 30k long run with Macca. It's currently a Friday morning, which is a bit unusual, but it is study week, so I can do whatever I want before my exams. So we're going to, jump on for another big loop, same 30k loop as 2 weeks ago. So 9k's of fairly smooth gravel running, jumping into a 2.9k segment called Kelly's Climb, which has about 200 meters of elevation gain. We're going to do that twice at a kind of thresholdy effort, and then once we're at the top of the climb, we're going to hop on to 10k's of Railway Heritage Trail, which pretty much gets us all the way back to the car on a nice smooth decline. So it's a really nice structure to the long run with a nice long warm up, 2 threshold efforts, and then we can kind of settle into a tempo pace on the downhill, which should be good. In terms of my training for the week, it's been pretty reduced after HBF 3k on the weekend. So my sessions have been 5x1k, 3x2k, both at threshold paces, and they've felt fine. So it's going to be good to juice up the legs at the end of the week with a nice big long run. Should be good to just get out of the house, honestly, during exams. I'm pretty keen. In terms of the shoes, this is going to be a key point for a lot of people. We've got the Metafuji Trail from Asics, which I'm excited to try out. I've heard some mixed feedback around it, most of which is exciting to me. So a lot of people have been saying it's very, very bouncy. It's like a super shoe with a trail outsole whacked on, which to me is quite exciting because the trails that we're running today, trails, are really just loose kind of gravel tracks, vehicle access paths. It's nothing too technical. So faster shoe like that on some buffed out trails could be a lot of fun. So I'm very keen for that. A lot of people have said it's unstable, but that doesn't worry me too much. So we're going to get another 30k's in that. And then ideally in a couple of weeks time, with some more long runs, with some more time spent on the trails, I can bring all the trail super shoes together and do a nice big comparison video. So right now I've got the Metafuji Trail, Deviate Nitro Elite Trail, Tecton X3, Agravic Ultra, and then also the Mont Blanc Carbon from Ultra I'll chuck in there. Oh, and then the Vective Summit Pro 3 from the North Face. That's big cruiser of a shoe. So we'll whack those all together into a nice wrapped up video. So yeah, keep an eye out for that. But today it's going to be the Metafuji Trail.
How'd you go at HBF in the end?
Yeah, pretty happy with it. The course is like 400 long,
so long.
which is ridiculous.
Which is ridiculous.
For
fair enough on a
half marathon, you cop 400.
Yeah.
But for a 3k, that's like an extra 10%.
Yeah.
I reckon I would have split 3k in about like 9:14.
Oh, really? That's good then.
So I was happy with that. So maybe benefit of the doubt with a sprint, maybe looking at 9:10.
Yeah.
But it's a pretty downhill course. But yeah, like pretty happy with how the legs felt. What am I forgetting? No, that's everything. I thought it was going to be pissing down right now.
Yeah, I'm okay if it rains later, but I didn't.
I need to start a run dry. It's going to jockers. We go a bit of rain.
Yeah, it might get pretty depressing later, but see how we go.
We've got a spare pair of everything in my car.
Yeah, I realised I've got shorts in here.
I'm ready for a quick changeover. Oh yeah, well, just water dripping off everything.
But then it goes, direct to camera.
Yeah, have a quick look at it.
Yeah.
That's it, that's my feet wet.
That's wet. And then do all the big track training.
Yeah. Drainage here is definitely key. Far out. I always get people coming in store asking for like full waterproof shoes. I'm like the Gord, like they want it full sealed.
Yeah.
And I'm like, it's all good and well if you're like, you know, going through a bit of grass. But they're like, oh, I'm doing like real big splashy puddles. I'm like, mate, you're gonna be wearing a welly full of water.
Yeah.
Can't pull people away from their Gore-Tex.
Your feet would just heat up so much.
Oh yes, they're so hot as well, hot and heavy. Yeah, that's so. Based on the heritage, there won't be any of this.
Nah, that's where it all goes straight down.
Okay, approaching the 9k mark in the Metafuji trail. Pretty happy with the first little section here. A bit smoother on the gravel tracks. This is definitely very bouncy. It's more of that kind of super shoe feel compared to others, which is definitely going to be a negative for some. Like, it is quite unstable, it is quite radical, but I guess if you got the ankles for it, it can be very, very fun. You can definitely feel a stack as well. I think it's about 44 mil, but having the firmer flight foam in the heel with the more bouncy stuff up front definitely kind of evens it out, where if you're going downhill and you're getting a bit of a heel strike, you've got a bit more of that density, but then when you can kind of push on, get up onto the forefoot when you're climbing, combined with that plate, you do get that kind of nice direct punch off. Grip has been decent, no real need for it here, and the drainage has been fantastic as well, which has definitely been needed today with so much water. So I can pretty much feel like a stream of water just going out the toe as soon as I take the first step after a puddle, which has been schmick. So pretty happy with the performance so far. Just about to jump into the first Kelly's climb. Far out. My quads are cooked. My calves feel nothing, but my quads are jelly.
Chipper.
Stuff. I feel like there's a higher drop in this shoe with, like, the stiffness of the plate means that when I'm up on my toes, the whole shoe goes with me on the climbs, which is awesome. Because it means my calves are doing stuff all like, doesn't even feel like I've done a calf raise.
Yeah.
But my quads, I feel like I've done 12 drop sets on a hack squat. Like, if I was going to race in this, I would need to spend so much time in the gym.
Not practicing, yeah.
Or just make it flat. It always happens on the flat as well. You never roll your ankle on the techie stuff when you're about to die, but it's when you're just like trotting through some,
having a chat.
Yeah, a few puddles and then just gone. Okay, about to tick over 22 Ks. Metafuji trail is very, very nice. I'm having a great time, especially on that smooth rolling gravel downhill track. This thing feels like a road super shoe. Like, so smooth, so fast. The grip has been actually decent. It wasn't the best on those like big scrambling kind of climbs or some of the wetter downhills, but I think this is a running shoe which does enough to be considered a trail shoe, but it's also just, it's just fun for no reason, you know? So I would say this is going to be one of my favourite racing shoe vibes for the trail so far. I probably would choose something a little bit more traily for a serious race. But if I was bopping along for 10, 15, 20 Ks on some slightly smoother tracks, may as well just go for something like this, which is going to give you a great time and be fast as well.
This is not like actually flowing yet. Yeah.
It'll get pumping soon, eh?
Yeah. Oh, it's not flowing at all. What am I still gonna do? That's fucking crazy, man. I thought that was gone.
Oh, so it looks
It's
alright.
fine, man. I think it's a little swollen, but when we when I first did it, I was like, oh no, man.
Broken ankle.
That was the most like I've hurt my ankle in like 5 years at least.
Okay, in the car now, driving home from that, started to rain down, so we've timed that quite nicely. Overall, pretty happy with that run. Hour and 50, around 24 Ks. Cruising in that last 10, 11 Ks running downhill. Felt really smooth. Happy with the threshold effort in the middle as well. And yeah, the weather actually ended up being pretty good. A little bit wet at the start and the feet did get soaked, but no blisters, no issues whatsoever. So I'm happy with that. In terms of the Metafuji trail, honestly, really pleased with how it's turned out. It's definitely not the best trail racing shoe out there, I'll say that right away. This is not going to be the most useful for people looking to run techie trails or, you know, big descents and climbs. It's just not going to be that useful, but for a bit of a niche purpose of buffed out gravel tracks where you've got a bit of opportunity to punch the pace, I don't think there's any racing shoe out there right now which can cop a beating on the trail and move as fast as the Metafuji trail. This does feel like a Metaspeed Sky Plus, just with a trail outsole and maybe a little bit more density from that EVA foam on the floor. I felt like the plate was actually really useful for once, where some shoes I feel like it can become a little bit clumsy and clunky. This felt like I was getting a good leverage advantage, especially on the climbs, meaning that my quads could take on a bit more of a load, which over a longer race, at a more sustained pace, I think would be an advantage. A bit like what the Wave Rebellion Pro 3 did for me in the marathon, offloading the calves, making sure the bigger muscle groups can take on that load, I think would actually be quite useful. So yeah, I'm really happy with it. I love how breathable the upper was. I got soaked multiple times, just literally foot entirely covered in water, and it drained really quickly. And the fit and lockdown was secure as it could be on top of such a tall, unstable midsole. The only thing I would say is that we could probably lose just a touch of stack, and I think it would overall improve its appeal to a wider variety of people. Like, you know, I feel like the people who are going to use this shoe probably aren't too concerned with having 44 mil of foam under heel. I feel like they could probably get away with 40 or even 38 if you just took a little bit more of that foam out from the floor, or from the bottom layer is what I mean. So you still have the really nice bouncy stuff. Maybe it's something to do with the plate geometry. You need a bit more foam to work with to be able to fit in the scoop. So could be wrong there, but overall, I think if you just lowered the stack down a little bit, I think we could have a little bit more of a nimble, agile, useful trail running shoe. But yeah, I'm actually pretty pleased with that. I enjoyed that more than the DV8 Nitro Trail, especially on the smooth parts. I felt like it was a little bit bouncier, a little bit more poppy, but I would definitely say the DV8 would have it covered for any kind of moderately technical trail with a bit of a more stable feel, but still a nice smooth propulsion. So yeah, it's a really nice impression, but it's mainly because it reminds me of a road shoe. So I think I enjoy it. I think I like the concept, but I think I mainly just find it funny that Asics have just, pretty much just taken the super shoe and said, stuff it. We're just going to whack an outsole on that and sell it as a trail shoe. I just think that's pretty funny. And I do like the fact that it exists. It's fun to have those kind of, you know, out there shoes which are polarizing and are fun and aren't just catering to everybody. So yeah, it's not going to be one that I can recommend to everybody, but yeah, if that sounds like something you're after, a super shoe which can cop a bit of trail beating, this is the one to go for. Rest of the weekend, maybe a tempo effort for parkrun tomorrow, bit of jogging, a bit more study. Yeah, a few shoe reviews coming up as well if you're keen. Endorphin Elite 2, which should be getting out pretty soon. And then we'll also chuck out the Leaning Fadian Challenger 5 within the next couple of days. So yeah, stay tuned for that. Also, I've just posted a video giving my complete guide on buying Chinese running shoes. So my experience in all of the brands over the past 4 years. So if that would interest you, I encourage you to check that out as well. Yeah, that's about it.